That's the end of that. That's what happened in Brazil. So let's move on, shall we, to Biden has been caught with some classified documents. I know what everybody's thinking. This is what they tried to get Trump for. And are still trying to get Trump for. Does that mean Biden? That mean Biden is going to get hit with the same thing? The answer is probably not. Not because him having classified documents is different on the surface from Trump having classified documents. Driving the bus wrong here. But it's because in order to be arrested and charged with crimes for having classified documents, you must have known that the classified documents were in fact classified, you did in fact have possession of them, and that they were in fact not allowed to be there. Those three things must be true. So let's read what's coming out of the Department of Justice right now and see if those three things are satisfied in this particular classified document case. So, Department of Justice reviewing potentially classified documents at Biden Center. The Justice Department is reviewing a batch of potentially classified documents found in the Washington office space of President Joe Biden's former institute, the White House said Monday. Special counsel to the president, Richard Sauber, said a small... These names, man. Why can't people have normal names? Just Sauber. Is he French? Could it be Sauber? I don't know. Regardless, every name I've read today has been bananas. Except maybe some of the Congress people, but I can't remember their names. Sauber said a small number of documents with classified markings were discovered as Biden's personal attorneys were clearing out the offices of the Penn Biden Center, where the president kept an office after he left the vice presidency in 2017 until shortly before he launched his 2020 presidential campaign in 2019. The documents were found on November 2nd, 2022, in a locked closet in the office, Sauber said. Sauber said attorneys immediately alerted the White House counsel's office, who notified the National Archives and Records Administration, which took custody of the documents the next day. Since that discovery, the president's personal attorneys have cooperated with the archives and the Department of Justice in a process to ensure that any Obama administration records are appropriately in possession of the archives, Sauber said. Okay, so that little bit right there, they were in a locked closet, and the attorneys of the president are cooperating in a way so that the records are appropriately in the possession of the archives. And they have notified immediately the National Archives and Records Administration. The reason that's important is because it shows that very likely the intent to keep the classified documents and the knowledge that they were classified was probably not there. Because contrary to popular belief, given what happened with Trump, classified documents end up where they shouldn't be all the time. The thing is when they're found, especially if documents are properly stored, like in a locked closet in a private office of the ex-vice president, then they are very unlikely to fall into the wrong hands or be seen. It also depends on the level of classification, what level of crime you have committed. And as such, if you did not know they were classified, or you did not know you had them, you did not conceal the fact that you had them, and you did not intend to take them, then having them in itself is not a crime. These are the things that Trump failed to do. Trump knew he had classified documents because he was properly by the National Archives. He was given a request for returning those documents. He did not return them, said he looked for them, clearly did not. They were left out in the open for anyone to see. And when it came up that he had taken the documents, knew he had taken the documents, lied that he still had them, and did not return them upon request, he has satisfied all three of the things required for it to be a crime that he had them in his possession. It is unclear, although unlikely, given from what we've gotten from the Department of Justice, that Biden has satisfied one, let alone all three, of those requirements for him to be criminally charged with this particular problem. So remember that when it comes to this stuff. Most of the things that you can charge somebody with related to classified documents involve intent, not just possession. It's possession plus intent. And it's fairly clear based on how the administration has reacted, how his lawyers are cooperating, and how the Department of Justice found them in a locked closet in an office, that they were not being held knowingly, maliciously, or trying to keep anything from the public eye. It was more than likely just a mistake. And mistakes with classified documents, contrary to what has been talked about recently, do not immediately equal a crime. So Biden probably didn't do anything wrong here. The long and short is Biden probably didn't do anything wrong here. Please, for the love of God, if you watch this later and you have a conversation with somebody about it, tell them this. Tell them that the intent matters, because there's nothing more annoying than hearing people complain about similar crimes from similar people when they don't actually know the law.